Our convention this year has the title, The Next Generations of Faith. Each year we seek to have a theme for our convention, and we tend to sort of plan the theme, work the theme ahead of convention. Last year it was Dedicated Life. And if you notice the newsletter from the beginning of 2008 all the way through, it comes out monthly on the first of the month, thereabouts, from the diocesan office. That newsletter was entitled The Dedicated Life, and the title now has changed since last convention. It's now called The Next Generations of Faith, as we look forward to our convention in 2009. And the idea is that we think together and begin to get intentional together about that theme. The next generations of faith include everybody who find God in their life in the next generation. It doesn't mean just young people. It means seniors. It means new immigrants. It means people that are coming out of into new retirement, who have thinking about the deeper questions of life, life's meaning and purpose. People who have not had any connection with church, but find in the Episcopal Church a way in to approaching God in their life, perhaps even for the first time. Every generation, it's said, is a new generation of faith. God has no grandchildren. God always, through water and the Spirit, brings new children and creates new children of God's own making. And so, Next Generations of Faith is geared to our engagement in all of that. Because it does, in many minds, bring up the issue of how do we reach that next generation which is younger than us? How do we bridge the gap between those of us who are older and those who are younger? Technology certainly has been helpful in a lot of this. Many of us now are on Facebook and have young people actually asking to be our friend throughout the diocese. I have bishops from other parts of the world wanting to be my friend on Facebook. Social networking through Facebook is a pretty big thing these days, to say the least. We also, through these new internet possibilities, can not only do engagements like I'm talking to you now, but sometimes bring something that has been worthy of great value to all of our attention. Recently I saw a video from the Ministry Development team that Creston members showed me about a girl that silenced the United Nations for 6 minutes. The girl whose speech silenced the United Nations for 6 minutes. It was a video from 1992 with this 13-year-old girl talking about climate change, talking about war, talking about the future as she saw it. It was just riveting in that speech. And it's a speech that, thanks to new technology, we can all see today and be inspired by and respond to. And I'm hoping to send it out to all of the clergy if they haven't seen it, and perhaps even to the listserv of the House of Bishops. This next generation of faith is very much we're very much on a new edge of engagement with this next generation of faith. And especially as we think of the younger people, voices like this 13-year-old, we have such people in our diocese. We have such marvelous young people in our diocese that if we were to give them a place and ask them what they think about God's priorities for our lives and for our world together, I think we would be amazed at what they came up with. We have an organization now called PROM, made up of our high school. They created this themselves, our high school students. And they're planning and designing ways in which they can be people of faith for their generation and at this time. We just have to get out of their way and allow them to move forward and let God's Spirit work through them. Next generation of faith includes young adults, people in their 20s and 30s who are looking for the church to let them in, to let them have the voice that they need, and let them have the opportunity that they need to be able to make the difference that they want to make in God's name. They are not as overtly religious perhaps as many later generations have been, but doesn't mean that they don't want to see the kingdom, the reign of God happen, and be part of that, of it, bringing it about in the name of Jesus Christ. So this next generations of faith with our young people is that other group that I would like to see in leadership in our church. I'd like to see the chapters have representatives, not just youth representatives, but that in your representatives to delegations, to convention that then might be present at chapters, that those delegations include young people, and that they in particular be encouraged to find their voice and be among us and help work with us, all of us, lead us in what God is saying to us and leading us to in the coming days. I think that's we need to encourage younger people to be part of our commissions, to be part of all the leadership all the leadership groups that we have throughout the diocese. And a chapter is a good place to begin. And I hope that that will be something that you can encourage as you move on from this moment in your life as congregations in a particular region of the Diocese of Iowa. So I think that's all I want to say to you all today. I'm delighted to have this opportunity. It's new to me, for me to do this, looking at myself and some of these outtakes in particular. I feel like a deer in the headlights, but perhaps we'll all be able to grow in this technology and grow greater ease and be able to increase our communication in God's name. So God bless you as you gather in your meeting today, and in your continued desire to serve God's mission throughout the world.